So Preston boss Ryan Lowe was the first managerial departure that we saw this season, leaving Preston by mutual consent after just one game of this championship season. But which championship manager is going to be next up on the chopping block? That's going to be the focus of today's video. We're going to be going through each championship manager and basically discussing their job security as of right now. I'd love to hear from you guys on this one in the comments down below, but without any further ado, let's just jump into the tier list. So we've got 5 categories here we'll be chucking each of these championship managers into. Obviously, we can already chuck Ryan Lowe into that already gone category. If you want to hear my thoughts on Ryan Lowe in a little bit more detail, make sure to go ahead and check out yesterday's video where we dived into some of the reasons why Lowe left after just one game of this championship season. But that departure definitely caught a lot of people off guard. But who else is under pressure right now in the championship? I know it's only been one game for Wayne Rooney, but I think we can all admit he is under pressure already. It was a bit of an unpopular appointment at the time. Definitely an appointment that's brought a lot of media attention and external noise with it. And I think that Plymouth and Rooney would have both been absolutely desperate to get off to a good start this season, but losing in the manner of which they did against Sheffield Wednesday really has put that extra scrutiny on Rooney early on. I think he probably would be most people's picks for the next championship manager to lose their job. But hey, it's still early days, but that game against Sheffield Wednesday was quite worrying. I also think I'd put Paul Warne maybe into the under pressure category. I think coming into this season, Derby were looking a little bit more undercooked, especially compared to the 2 other promoted clubs in terms of transfer business, pre-season results and the overall mood around the club and everything like that. And that was probably reflected in the opening day results. You know, Oxford got a really good result against Norwich, Portsmouth went to Leeds United and got a point, and Derby shipped 4 goals against Blackburn, who a lot of people have tipped to struggle this season. Warne, he's already got a few relegations on his CV. It feels like if these next few weeks don't go well for him, he very much could be on the chopping block. Is this a bit of an unpopular opinion to go, is Daniel Farke feeling a bit of pressure? I definitely think Farke's under pressure to start this season well for Leeds. After how Leeds fell off in the last few matches of last season, how disgruntled some of the fans were after that playoff final, I definitely think there's a section of that Leeds fan base that's got Farke under pressure right now, especially if he doesn't get some good results over these next few weeks. Now, in fairness to Farke, you can look at their opening result in 2 ways, really. Yes, they did drop points in quite a disappointing fashion against a newly promoted side in a game where they were the overwhelming favourites, but Leeds created more than enough chances to go ahead and win that match. But I do think it adds a little bit of spice to this overall Farke theory that he is under pressure right now. I've still got faith in him. I still think he will get Leeds United promoted this season, but yeah, we'll wait and see how these next few weeks go, because there's definitely a bit of pressure piling on there. In terms of a lot of the new bosses that have come into the championship this season, I'll probably put them into the need to see more category. Tim Volter, need to see a little bit more from him at Hull City over these next few weeks. A few glimpses of positivity though from that opening day display against Bristol City. For Norwich, obviously it wasn't a great start to the season, but I'm still going to need to see more of them and their new manager. Losing against Oxford on the opening day wasn't ideal, but they weren't ideal circumstances that they were coming into that game with, having recently lost Gabriel Sara. The Johnny Rowe situation, which sort of took over that day for Norwich, wasn't ideal either. Need to see more of him. Ridge Lebree got off to a really good start with Sunderland, but I've not really formed that much of an opinion on him just yet. Need to see a little bit more. Also going to say I need to see a little bit more from Tom Cleverley as well. He obviously took charge of those games in the back end of last season for Watford. Got a really good result on the opening day against Millwall, but still very early days in his managerial career, and being at a club like Watford and how chaotic that can be, there's every chance that if he loses his next 2 games, we're dropping him straight into that category. But for the time being, I'm going to put Cleverley into the need to see more category. In terms of some managers who are safe for now, Luke Williams I'd definitely say is safe for now. Swansea did lose that opening day fixture against Middlesbrough, but that was always going to be a tough game for Swansea, wasn't it? I think the whole fan base has bought into the style of play there that he's trying to implement. Obviously, I'll get to see Swansea in a little bit more detail when Preston travel there this weekend. Errol Bullock I also think is safe for now. Interesting that Cardiff are trying to switch up their playing style from last season. I think that was quite evident in their season opener manner against Sunderland, want to be a little bit more assertive on the ball, playing through the lines and things like that. That's going to take time to come through, but I think he's been backed with players so far. I think all that fan base is behind him. Des Buckingham and John Mousinho, definitely safe for now. You could even maybe have a reason to put these two into the top category, but being in charge of a newly promoted club, coming back up to the Championship, is always a little bit precarious. If you do go on a bad run of form, you are near the relegation zone, a club can get a little bit twitchy, but I think there's a real feel-good factor around both of these sides right now. Portsmouth, who have got a really difficult start to the season on paper, but that was a terrific result for them at Ellen Road, wasn't it? And likewise for Oxford, a brilliant opening day performance and result against Norwich City. Wilder at Sheffield United, I think is safe for now. There were a few doubts with Sheffield United coming into this season, but they've already wiped out that point deduction. It was a decent opening day display against Preston North End, and that squad really is starting to come together now. Schumacher at Stoke, I think, is safe for now. You never know with Stoke City. There always seems to be a little bit of chaos behind every corner, but they ended last season in really good form, pulled off a great result on the opening day of the season against Coventry as well. Feel like that fan base is really behind Schumacher at this point in time. With Neil Harris at Millwall, do you know what? I'm tempted to say I need to see a little bit more from him. I know Millwall ended last season in fantastic form, but I think I'm still on the fence as to whether Harris is definitely the right man to take Millwall forward long term. It was a bit of a bonkers game on the opening day against Watford, but he's a manager who I need to see a little bit more of over these next few weeks to sort of gauge the direction that Millwall are going in. Liam Manning at Bristol City, definitely someone who is safe for now. I think that overall fan base is really behind him. Decent summer transfer window so far as well. I can't see him being sacked anytime soon unless results went really sideways. John Eustace at Blackburn, I think, is safe for now. There was quite a bit of scrutiny and behind the scenes drama going on at Blackburn over the summer, but it really feels like there's been a sense of optimism injected into that club over these last few weeks. One, because of the opening day display, performance and result against Derby, but also because they've been a lot more active in the transfer market as well and have finally been getting some deals over the line. Carlos Corberán at West Brom, the guy is safe as houses. The only way he is leaving West Brom is if he gets poached by another club or decides to leave himself. There is absolutely no way I can see West Brom sacking him. Despite looking weaker coming into this season than they were last time around, they still pulled off a fantastic result on the opening day against QPR. I mean, he's one of the safest managers in the Championship. Likewise, Danny Roll at Sheffield Wednesday, the guy is safe as houses. They are not sacking him anytime soon. The only way I can see him leaving Wednesday is if maybe a Premier League or a Bundesliga club was to come in for him. And if Wednesday carry on this same trajectory, that might not be too far away. But brilliant opening day performance. Really feels like something special's building at Sheffield Wednesday right now. Michael Carrick at Borough, I feel like he's safe as houses, if I'm honest with you. There was a point of last season where Borough and their results really dropped off, but there never seemed to be any sort of conversation around Carrick and his future. It feels like the overall club has really bought into his vision. Decent transfer window so far, good opening day result as well. I can't see Carrick leaving anytime soon. Mark Robbins, it wasn't a brilliant opening day for Coventry, but the guy's still safe as houses, isn't he? He's by far the longest serving manager in the Championship. Everyone at that club is completely behind him. Marty Cifuentes at QPR, I'd say safe as houses with how well he did with QPR last season. Even if they do get off to a bit of a rocky start this season, I can't see them pulling the trigger on him. If he was to leave, it would be for him being tempted away by another job. For Scott Parker at Burnley, I mean, what a start it was last night. Really convincing performance against Luton. Still early days for Parker at Burnley, of course, but he's a proven manager at this level. I think it would be wrong to put him in anything less than safe for now. Obviously, expectations on Burnley are very high this season, but yeah, it was a really good opening day display from them. Then finishing off with Rob Edwards, it wasn't a great opening day display against Burnley, but you could tell they were lacking in quite a few positions, especially defensively in that game. They stuck by him through relegation last season, and his sacking was never really on the cards. I reckon he's still safe as houses, although if Luton start really slowly this season, then he may drop down this tier list as we go along, but for the time being, I think his job's still pretty secure, isn't it, at Luton? But those are my thoughts on Championship managers right now and their current job security. Do drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Who do you think will be the next manager to be sacked this season? But apart from that, thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next one.